Yeah, man. It's the 25th of May, 2022. It's Kevin Christian. So, I want to talk about some things with neuromonitoring that every targeted person needs to understand. And some of you guys are just a little bit lost and as far as technology, and I know all of this stuff can seem very magical. Okay, so I'm going to give you some direction and some logic behind the things that I'm saying. All right, so um, it's not magic. All right, and I know when this crazy stuff starts to happen and people can talk to you from somewhere else, and I understand it, okay? And I've been through that many years ago when it first started to happen, and I was really trying to make sense of it all. And at first, your mind comes to the logical solutions that you can understand to your level of understanding. So when you hear people talking, you're looking for where it's coming from, and you're trying to figure out how are they doing that, and looking for speakers and the ceiling fans and the wall outlets and all kinds of wild stuff like that. Okay, but after a while, you start to be able to conclude that this stuff can happen no matter where you are. I even went through a little phase where I thought that they could hack into any electronics uh, signals or electricity, like 60 hertz or something. Because everything you plug in, it'll say like if you look on the power, um, the little information um, thing on the side of electronics, it'll always say like 60 hertz, and that's what our power runs at. So I thought they had figured out how to hack into 60 hertz or just any any electricity type of thing at first, because it would come from everywhere, and uh, I would be walking up the road, and they would play into this stuff. Like they'll play into what you believe. Like if you're out in the middle of the woods, they're not gonna blow their cover until you know. And so the more you know, the more that they'll just do, because it doesn't matter, anyway. So for example, like I'll be walking up the street and um, I would walk past like a restaurant and I would hear them, like it was coming from, even if there's nobody there. So I was thinking like, oh, they're hacked in through the speaker system of this restaurant, and it would seem like it was coming from there and different places as I would move about in the world. So, but they played into that, and before I knew that it could just come from anywhere, that it was a satellite broadcast, and you could be butt naked in the middle of the ocean, 100 miles from anything whatsoever. Um, once I knew that, then they didn't play into it anymore. The cover was blown, and from there they so once you know something, they don't try to hide it anymore. Like that once you know that they are attacking you with broadcast, they'll start talking trash and bragging almost, and talking like they're tough guys while they torture your body, because you no longer think it's some kind of physical thing, of ailment or an injury or anything. You understand that they are attacking you with broadcast. Once you understand that, then they'll proceed to just do it anyway all the time without trying to cover it up at all. Um, once you know that they know what you're thinking, then they'll still try to play some games. Like when you think of something, they'll say it to you as if it's a suggestion, or like, oh yeah, like we're like I know what you ought to be doing because you just thought of it. And so they'll say back to you what you're thinking, maybe even change the words a little to give that thing like, oh yeah, we're on the same wavelength, or we're in tune with each other, or like they know a lot or something. But really, they're receiving whatever it is your mind is processing. So, and once you understand that, it gets easier to pick through their little games. You get to the point where you don't even care about anything they have to say whatsoever. It's just, and they're idiots. But the same, when you understand that they can see what you see, and not like they have a camera in your eyes, but like see what you see. All right. So it's what your mind is processing. So if you close your eyes and imagine something, that's what they see. If you see something with your eyes open, that's what they can see. If you have a dream, that's what they can see. And they receive that in their own mind. And so they're able to receive your dreams and imaginations and thought processes and whatever your mind processes, including vision. And once you know that, then they no longer try to keep it a secret because now you know. So it's one of those things. But now let's get on to the important part. All right. We know this is not magic. This is a technological thing. It is a satellite broadcast system. And so, when I tell people they need to be studying computer programming and like the internet stuff and computer stuff, they're like, oh no, this is more than that. This is there's no way they could be doing all of this with the internet, even when I'm not around internet. And it's not that they're doing this with the internet. So you need to understand the difference. They're not doing what they do with the internet. They're doing what they do with a satellite broadcast system. They're accessing this satellite broadcast system, the access point, some interface online to be able to control the different settings online, on the internet, on devices, on computers. Okay, so that's why I say that. Everything that they do revolves around computers and being online on the internet. And ask yourself some questions. How is one gang stalker able to come on to your neural monitoring and talk to you out loud with broadcast artificial telepathy? How would they be able to do that? It's not, there's not a there, they didn't chi it in, really. They didn't meditate to your frequency. That's not how it works. They went on to an interface, an online control panel, whether it be a website or something you put into your terminal or a software that you have to have and then integrate that into something with the terminal and some web service integrated with the satellite broadcast system. There is some way that they're accessing settings. And if you really think about it and conclude the logic truth of it all, they have to be able to access settings. These gang stalkers will connect to each other. They get on mind control. It's like a hive. They can connect to you. Different people can come on and off your neural monitoring. All these people doing the street theater. How do you think that they're finding out? Do you think that they just meditated your location? Oh, I know where he's at. It just hits you like a master Jedi, right? It's not how it works. Think logically, okay? They must be, and I know they are for a fact because listen. I would never tell you guys something that I didn't know for sure. When I'm telling you that this is how it works, it's because I really know for sure. And it's not something that I'm making up. And if I wasn't exactly sure, I would tell you, well, this is a theory of mine. But it's not a theory of mine. I've seen things in real life that I know for a fact is true. And then if you think about things logically, you can only conclude that it must be this way. And I've witnessed things firsthand that I can tell you for absolute certainty that they are accessing some sort of interface online. I've seen it integrated into Facebook, like the weather app within Facebook. I've seen neural monitoring integrated into the weather app on Facebook. Okay, I've seen people going on to all kinds of weird stuff. I've found underground websites with audio streams of gang stalking. I've found all kinds of stuff before, and they'll quickly brick my device or block me off of that kind of stuff and crash my drive, and they do all kind of stuff. When I start to find things like that, like if I start to find something like that, I might be able to look at it for a second, but let me try to do a screen recording or break out a camera or anything. Crash. They're gonna destroy my property at that point because I can't be finding out that kind of stuff, or not be able to prove it. So if you think about it, all this stuff logically, though, and I would never tell you guys that that's how it worked if I wasn't sure that that's how it worked. And I wouldn't be saying it. And I would tell you, hey, this is my theory if it was a theory, but it is absolute certain. And I'm telling you that it is. And if you think about things logically, then you'll come to the same conclusion that this must be how it works. So this is the biggest reason why this is the biggest reason why I'm doing the computer programming stuff in college. Um, I, you know, there's somebody messaging me right now, and they're very distraught about the whole situation with their gang stalking and stuff like that, and they're kind of talking a little bit crazy, like like they don't want to wake up and stuff like that, and that is why gang stalking is genocide, because that's probably happened 10 million times. And I'm sure some percentage of those people decided that they were not going to wake up anymore. They would just rather not live than to do this every day. And that's why gang stalking is genocide. That's why we're at war for our lives. We really are. Um, so the computer programming stuff is very important. Um, I've learned a lot, but I haven't learned near enough. And they have access to everything, every device, every kind of just can run a program and take over a MacBook Pro brand new from Apple. If you just bought it 5 minutes ago, 5 minutes from now, they can be controlling that and have a virtual machine on that, and you'll be a user while they're the admin of your device. And they'll be running all kinds of stuff in the background. Uh, you open up your process viewer and your console and going crazy. 100 processes with you know 500,000 console log messages, and on a brand new device that you don't even use, and you're not even on any programs or anything, and it's just running. Now, what does that tell you? So I started at the beginning. I kind of didn't, but now I've went back when I started school a while back, and I'm starting from the beginning of everything, and so I can have a full understanding. And it is a process, and it takes time. My biggest fear, I don't have a lot of fears, okay, but my biggest fear is that I'm going to run out of time with trying to do this the right way, and I know how it works. I want my neural monitoring. I won't settle for anything less. I want my family to be safe, and they attack me so horribly every single day, and the physical torture gets so bad. And that's a huge concern for me, is if I'll have time to make the progress, legally, financially, intellectually, to be able to do this the right way, before some other disaster happens. And so that's my biggest fear. Um, I got some people that I think will help me, and then I'm gonna do everything I can to help myself. And I think it's very important that all of you guys start to take it very seriously with computer programming. Look, they're on your phone. They're on your phone, accessing neural monitoring, your neural monitoring. So if you can do whatever you want, you can't even get in your phone. Most of you probably don't even know how to transfer files off of your phone. Your thing's full, so you just sign up for a Google Drive, or some more iCloud or something. My phone's full. I need a new one, right? So you need to start to understand some very basic concepts, and then move into really learning about this stuff. And I would recommend um, getting on all the developers' sites and start from the beginning. Google and Apple and Facebook and anything else that seems important. The W3 schools, and even go to college for computer programming. You probably will have about a 2 year, 2 to 3, 4, maybe even year process where you're learning enough. Okay, but as a result, you're going to end up in a way better situation financially. You're going to have the knowledge, and the understanding to get rid of these idiots out of your life, and most likely get your neuromonitoring, take control of your life. And, and I'm allowed to say that because I don't have my neuromonitoring. It seems like people that have their neuromonitoring, they're not allowed to say anything about neuromonitoring. It's something that it's not allowed, I guess, because they won't. None of them will say it. But I can say whatever I want to. And here's something that you can count on. I get tortured every day, so as long as I'm being tortured and held captive on remote neuromonitoring, everything that I learn will be passed on to you guys. All right, so if I learn how to go into my devices and can find something about neuromonitoring, I'm gonna show you how to do it. And that's what these gang stalkers earned. They earned that because I can do that. I can do that if I want to because they torture me every single day, and that's the consequence of holding me captive. Is everything I find out. See, this is what's going to happen. The more I find out, they're gonna start kind of turning directions, and these idiots that are torturing me every day, they're going to start getting ran off by a bunch of people that just want to try to make this situation right. If I don't get killed or something. But there's going to be people that want me to shut up. There's going to be a lot of controversy, and what's what you can count on though is when I figure out too much, and they still haven't gotten out of my life, then that means everybody's going to know too much. So take my advice, start learning about computer stuff. Just go on to anything, like go to Android developers and start from the beginning, and go to Facebook developers and start from the beginning, and just understand the structure of it, and it'll take weeks and weeks to get into it. But some months or years down the road, you could be doing this whole targeting thing for 20 years, and they'll destroy your whole life, and your quality of life is misery, and you're not going to get anywhere. You have to make progress. And every bit of progress you make, you're going to feel better, and you're going to feel more empowered. You're going to feel more in control, and you're going to start to feel the tables turning. So that's what's going on. Take my advice and start learning these things. The government's not going to help us. We're going to have to do a $1 trillion class action lawsuit against the government for supporting terrorism. So take my advice and start helping yourself. And nobody else is going to help us.